Get fired up, people. It is March Madness, and some people might think that March Madness only starts with the tournament itself. Nonsense. Conference tournament action drives a lot of fun, and you should be watching and getting out that pencil and paper and taking some notes so when you fill out your bracket, you'll be more informed. That's what we do. It's Prediction Markets Edge right here on the early line. Donnie Rightside and Joe Ranieri. We're going to take you through some different avenues here to invest your money, Joe. Always a good start and always a lot of fun right here on a Monday.
It really is, Donnie. A lot of great opportunities in this spot here today as some of these mid-majors, we're getting to the finals, the semifinals, teams ready to punch their ticket. And yes, some of these teams, Donnie, a little bit of a surprise at this point in these conference tournaments.
Monmouth had a bye coming into the CAA tournament. Campbell actually won their first two games. They're going to meet today, Joe, 6 p.m., and that's going to be a game that's going to be on the CBS Sports Network. It's Campbell versus Monmouth. If we take a look at Monmouth to win this game outright tonight on Kalshi, a 54% chance. Campbell has the underdog trading at a 46% chance. The spread itself, Monmouth by 1.5. That's 53% here. And if you look at the total, 152.5 to the over, that's trading at 47% at this point. Campbell versus Monmouth tonight in the CAA, Joe.
Yeah, so like you said, Donnie, they've already got a couple of wins under their belt. They came in as the 9 seed here in this Coastal Athletic Conference here, Donnie, and nobody really expected them to get to this point, but you're going to have a third game now in as many days. Yep. Keep an eye on this kid, DJ Smith. He is a absolute stud for Campbell. He dropped 20 yesterday, which was good enough to beat the number 1 seed UNC Wilmington. And how did they do it? Well, Donnie, they went a 54-37 run in the second half, which is what put them over the top and now has them taking on a Monmouth team that it was a struggle bus a little bit against a Drexel team who likes to drag teams through the mud. Look at this total, though, Donnie, 130, 131. If you're expecting a big shootout, that market is telling you do not here. But listen, number 9 seed, yeah, they're rolling right now. Kind of tough, though. You got to play that third game here. Maybe a little tired legs here as well.
You bring up a great point, Joe, because so many times look at the NBA, oh, it's back-to-back. College basketball, they don't do back-to-backs, and it's so different to say, okay, they have 2 games in a row. That's one thing. 3 games, or you win that, Joe, 4 games in a row that you'll start to cap again. So if you figure, like, you know what, Monmouth favored by 1.5, you can use that sliding scale here on the predictive markets. Bump up Monmouth to win by 4.5, which means 5. That's trading at a 38% chance. A $100 investment here pays back $244 if they win the game by 5 points. So if you have a certain edge, you can use that to your advantage and slide it over for some plus money. Detroit Mercy taking on Robert Morris tonight. This game is going to take place at 9:30 p.m. Eastern. The favorite is Robert Morris, Joe, trading at a 66% chance here, and Detroit Mercy is the underdog, trading at 34%. If you look at the spread line, Robert Morris by 5.5 points, that's trading at 51%, and a total listed at 147.5, that's trading at 48%. Detroit Mercy, Robert Morris tonight, Joe.
Styles make fights, right, Donnie? And you got 2 totally different styles here with Robert Morris, who was kind of the class of this Horizon League here. And we know, listen, in a Horizon League, it is notorious for nobody plays defense, Donnie. It's going to be offense, and more offense, right? Well, Robert Morris has got a pretty good winning streak coming into here, not to mention a couple of games ago, they beat him in the regular season, 73-62. Detroit has won 4 of their last 5, and they've done so by scoring at least 84 points in 3 of those 5. Something's got to give here because Robert Morris has not allowed more than 70 points in 5 straight games. So styles make fights here. The Colonials are going to want to drag the Mercy right through the mud here. I think they're going to be very successful in doing so, Donnie. I would not look at an over in this game, but I would definitely look at Robert Morris handling business.
Sometimes we always talk about, Joe, the three-point line could be the ultimate equalizer. In conference play, the number 1 shooting team is Detroit at almost 40% as a team. However, you take a look at RMU's defense here, Joe, pretty stingy at the three-point line. Who's going to win that battle? Probably going to win this game and also cover here. Let's head out to the West Coast here. And as we talked about in hour number one, from a FanDuel DraftKings Sportsbook perspective here, Santa Clara is going to take on St. Mary's. Usually top-heavy in the WCC. But tonight's game should be a lot of fun to watch it play out. This start, 11:30 p.m. Eastern, Joe. Night Owls, you're getting your basketball fix at this time of year. St. Mary's to win this game outright, Joe, trading at a 62% clip has a chance, and Santa Clara 38%. But if we look at the side itself, a 3.5-point favorite for St. Mary's, Joe, that's 56%. So if you feel they're going to win that game by 4 points, a $100 investment would pay back $179. St. Mary's, Santa Clara, good one on the West Coast here.
Well, it is, Donnie, and it's one that St. Mary's ended up winning last month there when they battled here. Great win last night over Pacific, 76-68, a game in which they didn't really have to exert themselves all that much here. This is one of the better offenses we know here in the West Coast Conference. But they got to be careful, St. Mary's here. They are 27-4 overall. They're 16-2 in conference play. They have been an absolute machine. They know what's waiting for them on the other side. And, of course, that is going to be the Zags, who don't have a very tough matchup coming up here, as they're an 18.5-point favorite. But I think St. Mary's handles business again here. They have been there. They have done that. I would love to see Santa Clara give it a run. But I do think that St. Mary's knows how to win these games and knows how to beat Santa Clara. And don't be shocked if this game goes over the total. This isn't the St. Mary's of old, where defensively you first won the 60 wins. There might be a few more points in this game than you expect.
Kalshi markets here, poly markets here, some good fun in college basketball you can certainly have, Joe, but let's flip it over to the association tonight, and maybe the game of the night. The Denver Nuggets on the road to take on OKC. If we line this game up, sure, it's a favorite here for Oklahoma City as the home team, and they are the number one seed currently in the Western Conference. 70% chance on the money line for them to win this game, Joe. Denver trading at 30%. So if you put that into perspective, you think Denver pulls the upset, Joe, a $100 investment pays back $334. But if you're looking for the spread, 5.5 is listed here for OKC, trading at 56%. So a $100 investment there pays back $179, Joe. OKC at home to take on Denver tonight.
Yeah, this is going to be interesting. Likely no Jamal Murray here for Denver. He is listed as questionable. He did twist that ankle there in the last game, so we'll keep an eye on that. But Aaron Gordon apparently was able to shake off the rust here. Outside of him, and they should be okay to make this at least competitive, because anytime you have the Joker, good luck. You're going to have an opportunity, but I don't trust them defensively to get enough stops here. Aaron Gordon is back, but again, I still think minutes-wise, you're not going to get 35, 37 minutes from a guy that hadn't played the last 2 months. So I think OKC has the edge. I also think the over is a pretty good look here, too. OKC knows they can't take their foot off the gas, Donnie.
And we're thinking about points tonight. Maybe no Jamal Murray. Obviously, Nikola Jokic get 30-plus points tonight, trading at a clip of 40% here. That's a $100 investment, pays back $250 to pick up some of that slack. Let's hit New York. The Knicks are in town to face the Los Angeles Clippers here. New York to win this game outright, 54% chance. The Clippers at a 46% chance tonight, Joe. New York on the West Coast here. What are we thinking between the Knicks and the Clippers?
Yeah, well, the Clippers want to get to 500 in a big way. The Knicks now, second of a back-to-back, I think third game in 4 nights. Not a great spot here for them on this West Coast trip. I like Kawhi and company at home here, man. I think they have a pretty good edge. And you give me Darius Garland, Kawhi Leonard now, Mathurin. They want to make the postseason here. I think the Knicks, tough spot for them here tonight in L.A.
See what Jalen Brunson has right now, getting 25-plus points in this game tonight. A $100 investment pays back $197. We always talk about, like, from the sports book end of it and prediction markets here, you do have some of those crossovers. It's always to your advantage to shop between the two here and maybe get some better price points. But it's no longer just spread and total. You now get those prop bets, Joe, here in the market here on the predictive markets. And we love to see that. It's great stuff and certainly gives you another outlet. But it is time for some more college basketball talk. The conference tournaments for big boys about to get underway. We'll cover that next right here on Prediction Markets Edge. Congratulations. Prediction Markets Edge right here on the early lines. How we get down to business. New week, new money. It is a Monday, and also new week, new conference tournaments that will begin here. Let's talk about the MAC, Joe. And they said, no, Donnie, what about the big names out here? Trust me, you're going to want to tune in for this one because why? Akron, Miami, and Ohio. Let's just say Akron, Miami, Ohio, and Toledo. Probably the three best teams there. But you might say, like, yeah, well, one's undefeated, and that's Miami of Ohio. They're not the favorites to win this tournament, Joe, and by a wide margin. Akron trading on Kalshi right now at a 53% chance to win this tournament. Miami of Ohio, who's unbeaten, only 29%, Joe. Let's start right there. Before we get into where you're going to invest your money, do you feel that Akron should be that wide of a margin over Miami of Ohio?
Well, listen, it's part of me believes that, again, Miami of Ohio has done enough to be able to get into, as an at-large bid, the tournament, right? Having said that, that leaves open the possibility, Donnie, that Akron is a better team, at least statistically. They grade out as a better team, and they almost took down Miami back in January. So they will be live here, even though a lot of folks think that at some point the wheels are going to fall off of Miami of Ohio. You could have two MAC teams in making the tournament, Donnie, and how wonderful would that be here? And I think you've nailed it. I think it's one of those two. It's either Akron or Miami. I'm hoping Miami makes it far enough, but unfortunately, Akron's going to end up winning out. Give me two MAC teams just to see what Bruce Pearl's reaction will be, Donnie, when that happens.
Exactly. And also understand this. We talk about this so many times. Like, you could pick Akron or Miami of Ohio, but you don't actually have to get that champion to make some money. So if you take out a contract, Joe, Miami of Ohio at 29 cents right now, a $100 investment pays back $3.45. They win get two games in this tournament, you're already profitable at this point. So again, don't have to win it to make some money. Sort of that stock market type investment that you're looking to make. But it should be a fun one in the MAC, Joe. Let's flip it over to Madison Square Garden. It's been there forever. The Big East Men's Conference Championship Tournament. The favorite here, it's UConn, Joe, trading at 49% right now. St. John's at 33%. What's always the look? UConn's home away from home is usually the XL Center in Hartford, but really unofficially, it's the Garden. They've been there time and time again. Like, oh, we're going to show up in the bright lights in New York. We've never been here before. But home court advantage, that is St. John's trading at 33%, Joe. Two top teams, UConn, St. John's. Who is getting a ticket for you possibly?
Yeah, well, I mean, UConn, that was a tough loss against Marquette there over there. I mean, that was just absolutely disgusting. But what it did do is give Florida the opportunity to nail down that other number one come bracket time. But we know this is a two-team race, right? This is all going to be the Johnnies or UConn. Which one is going to be able to get it done? UConn has not been good down the stretch here, folks, at all. So do not be shocked here if the Johnnies end up running away with the Big East Championship. But maybe Villanova can give us an upset or two along the way there, Donnie. But I kind of like the Johnnies to get it done here.
Yeah, it'll be fun to watch, and we would love to see that final UConn and St. John's from Madison Square Garden for the Big East Championship for the conference tournament. We would love to see it. Let's head down, Joe, to Tobacco Road, and that's in the ACC. You know the heavy favorite's going to be. It's the Duke Blue Devils, trading at a 75% clip right now, followed by Virginia at 11%, Louisville and Miami at 5%, North Carolina and Clemson right behind them. If, again, you're looking at Duke winning this, they probably will. Do you want to invest in that and take it out at 76 cents? Maybe not at this point, Joe. But looking at some of those bottom-end teams, again, you don't have to win this tournament in order to cash in some tickets. Miami's a quality opponent, so is Louisville. Those two teams met up over the weekend, Joe, in an absolute barn burner, which Louisville won. So, Joe, are the contracts be smart to take in the favorites, or would you be looking a little bit down the list saying, I can get a couple wins out of Louisville. I can get a couple wins out of Miami. Maybe they even get to the conference final where instead of trading at 5%, they might be trading at 15 or 20% already.
Yeah, the problem is we are the most likely title game here is going to be some combination of either Duke, Virginia, or Duke, Louisville. Yeah. And that is about as yawn fest as possible. The problem is you can't, it's going to be Duke. Duke's going to win this. And the problem is, Donnie, even if you were to buy low on somebody in the ACC, even if they win a couple games, get to the title game, you're not going to increase your profits all that much because nobody in the market is going to think any of these teams are beating Duke, and that's the problem.
Yeah, you got that high leverage situation up top, and rightfully so. Like, Duke hasn't shown you any that they're going to back off of this. Now, they did get banged up a little bit in that UNC game, so make sure you check to see who those players are going to be available for the ACC tournament. Duke, probably regardless of winning the ACC or not, going to be a #1 overall seed. Big 12 men's tournament here. Arizona, Joe, they're the favorite, currently trading at 40%, followed by Houston at 29%. Iowa State and Kansas. Kansas at 9% is so interesting because Joe, the talent level is there, and maybe it just hasn't sort of come to fruition the entire season, but it's hard to leave out. But Arizona, the heavy favorite here at 40% as trading as the favorite.
Well, this is, to me, Donnie, the best conference tournament coming up because it is just loaded. Arizona's already locked into a 1 seed. Houston is not going to be any worse than a #2 seed. But then you start going down. You got Iowa State. You got Kansas. You got Texas Tech. You've got, you could even at TCU is not going anywhere anytime soon, which is absolutely crazy. So this, something tells me you might want to just go chalk and say, oh, Arizona, this could be a conference where, you know what? Maybe the Cincinnatis, the BYUs, the TCUs, maybe even Iowa State, which nobody is talking about very much anymore. Maybe you invest in them. I don't think it's guaranteed that it's going to be Houston or Arizona. I think anything can happen. They likely devour one another in this conference tournament.
Let's squeeze one more conference tournament in, Joe. It's the SEC. We talk Florida Gators trading at 49%. Second team there is actually Arkansas at 13%. Donnie, why that large margin? Well, just look at Florida. Their last loss against Auburn on January the 24th. They've run the table since, and they are blowing everybody out, Joe. It seems like teams are just playing for second here, and Florida's been that dominant.
Very much like, again, a lot of teams in this conference, but it feels like everyone is battling for the right to lose to Florida in the SEC championship here. That, to me, is what this is all about. They are the best team in that league. They have been now for the better part of 2 months. To me, Florida's going to be another 1 seed with a possibility of repeating, Donnie. And I don't think Arkansas, Bama, Vandy, Tennessee, I don't think any of them are going to come close here. I think it, much like Duke in the ACC, it's Florida's to lose here in the SEC.
It really is. And if you look at the second team, they're trading at 13%. It is Arkansas. And you might say to yourself, like, they have the talent to sort of challenge Florida. But also understand this. The prize for Arkansas is not actually winning the SEC. It's getting ACUF healthy once you have to actually make it into the tournament. Maybe Florida runs away with it. PNE on TEL. We'll be right back after this short break. We love the sports markets. We do. How about the entertainment markets? How about the political markets here? We got you covered on Prediction Markets Edge right here on the early lines. Joe Ranier at Sunny Right Side. But let's get to some news and notes here from Fox Business, Joe. Not necessarily placing bets on, but who's actually getting those wagers and investments cashed out. Take a look at this. Prediction Market Kalshi sued over a $54 million Iranian leader bets, or sued for $54 million for those bets after death carve-out invoked here at this point. So the people betting that he would be removed from office, strikes from the air designed as bombs and missiles took him out, Joe, but not enough to get your payment out? What are we talking about here?
Yeah, it seems a little crazy, doesn't it? But that is why, don't we always say, Donnie, like, listen, I don't care whether it's a sports book, predictive market, read the fine print and understand the rules before you invest your money. Understand what those guidelines are. It's unfortunately a very expensive lesson to learn, but you won't make that mistake again. Read the fine print, Donnie. That's all I'm telling you.
It's always in the fine print. And who would have thought, like, hey, there might be a war there where they're going to try to take the guy out, which means he will be out of power. But he actually had to probably get on the microphone at a press conference and say, I am leaving this country here and stepping down in power. It went a little bit differently, and $54 million up in flames at that point here, Joe. Let's get it back over to the predictive markets on Kalshi and take a look at who will be the next James Bond. Callum Turner, Jacob Elordi, Josh O'Connor, Aaron Taylor Johnson. The favorite is Callum Turner. We talked about this, I believe, about a month and a half ago at this point, and I was sliding it down, and I wonder if he's still there. Is Idris Elba still on the list? He's actually trading, Joe, at 5 cents here. $100 investment pays $2,000. I'm going with my guy, Idris. I don't have any inside information. I just like the guy and think he'd be a good James Bond. How about that? Can I get that in there?
Well, the problem with these markets, Sonny, is it's just when we talk about in the sports book world, like chasing the steam. That's what they already know who the next James Bond is going. The people already know, which means follow the market. It won't be long before you start to see, before this is announced, you'll start to see the market move in the direction of one of these guys. Make sure you're a part of it if you want to get in there. But somebody already knows this, Donnie.
Joe, February the 20th, Jacob Elordi was trading at 41% as the favorite. Fast forward that today, 46%. Not Jacob Elordi. That's Callum Turner. People are whispering out there, Joe, in these streets. Now, something near and dear to everybody here. You know about the turmoil going on in the Mideast, but when we talk about the Middle East, it's always about gas. And gas prices are absolutely surging right now. But you can go to the predictive markets on Kalshi and say, well, how high is that going to go? Above $2.90 a gallon? Of course. Joe, I would just take contracts out on the yes, out above every level, all the way up, and just say, you know what? Bing, 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 bing. Just keep hitting it. It's going higher. I don't know where it's going to end, Joe. I don't.
Well, I mean, what are we looking at? A national average here, 345 right now.
Too much.
Listen, but we also, a lot of this is based upon the idea that, we need everyone else's oil, but we don't. That's the reality of it. So will it go up? Sure. Will it go to $4? No. I think you're probably looking at 375 to 395, somewhere in that ballpark, Donnie, I think ultimately is as high as it may get this week.
By the way, when these gas prices continue to rise and you look at, oh my goodness, it's going higher. Can you imagine, like, if they just said, well, watch this, we're just going to take the actual tax off of the gas? It would drop we would probably be getting under $1 a gallon. It's amazing when you find out how much actual taxes go into each gallon of gas. Criminal at that point. But right now, I don't see any end in sight right now. Hopefully it comes down sooner or later. Nobody likes to have that pain at the gas pump, but that's what's taking place here. Joe, how about Oscar for Best Supporting Actor? No surprise here. Sean Penn in the lead at 71% for One Battle After Another. Stellan Skarsgård here, sentimental value at 20%. Then Delroy Lindo for Sinners, who's getting a lot of hype at this point. He's at 8%. There's our guy Jacob Elordi down there for Frankenstein at 3%. But the favorite, Sean Penn, by a wide margin here, Joe.
And I think that's a safe bet, Donnie, because all of the rumors and the headlines have been anybody that I know that's watched that movie had said he kind of stole the show there, and he was, typical Sean Penn. which would not shock me at all that he pulls this down. He is that big a favorite for a reason, I think, Donnie.
How about this, Joe? You want to get some fun on this one? You can actually go to the Kalshi marketplace right now and take a tie, trading at 1 cent right now, Joe. $100 investment pays back 10 grand if we have a tie, like Penn and Skarsgård, Penn and Lindo up there shaking hands and splitting the trophy.
Yeah, that's not going to happen, though, because otherwise that would absolutely be higher than what it is right now, Donnie. They already know the winner.
Markets, baby, right here on EL. Just how we get down the business at this point, and we are going to be headed to break here. Thank you for tuning in once again. We'll be back bright and early tomorrow morning for much more fun right here on the SportsGrid Network.